Welcome back to another week of YouTube. We have been blessed with another 21 mil on top of what we had a couple of weeks ago, so things are looking pretty damp around here at the moment, which is good. Bit of a change of pace from where we've been for the last 4 months. We managed to get most of the sowing done last week, all bar one paddock, so that was a little bit annoying, but that breakdown that we had cost us that one paddock, I think. So anyway, we were lucky to get done what we did. One paddock won't take very long to buzz over, but it's just got to get dry enough to get on again. We also got all of our corn bales moved. They are all on high ground and some of them are covered, so that's good. Hope to have them all shifted by next week, all the ones that we can shift, and there's a few more people coming to pick them up. But got a bit of a different project today. We're going to set up our Can-Am, one of our Can-Am buggies with the, it's a John Deere setup with a Gen 5 screen, 7,000 receiver, and a tractor in the box setup we're going to install onto the buggy. It's people may have seen a post I put up on Facebook a little while back on the Planting the Crop page, asking for ideas of how to do boundaries, because just coming into sowing, we noticed that a lot of the boundaries and whatever that we tried to shoot across onto our Pro 1200 had been, they were of poor quality, so I needed to go and redo nearly all of them. There was only about 4 or 5 I thought were up to scratch, so I'm setting that up to go and get those boundaries set right now while I can still get around the paddocks. I needed to dry out a little bit more, but yeah. Anyway, she's a foggy old day out here in the Riverina today again. I think this is about our 4th fog in a row, and if you look closely there, which you probably can't see, you'll see the wheat packlet's head through well and truly. Looks like we've got good establishment everywhere with the wheat, so I meant to do a crop update on the wheat there not that long ago when I did the canola and the barley, but to be honest with you, not much was up yet, so. But she's all poked its head out in the last week, and she's gotten another drink. Anyway, we'll go and set this buggy up, get it rolling, and yeah, we'll hopefully get some boundaries made. I'm going to have a few forward and backs with the computer to make sure everything's going to work. The problem I have is I'm trying to get John Deere boundaries with John Deere screen, which is good because I got John Deere header. I need the boundaries for it anyway, and but I want to try and put them over onto the Pro 1200 as well. So there'll be a bit of a double take that needs to happen, and I need to make sure that they're going to be right on both systems. So a little bit of forward and back with the computer, I think. Anyway, you can tell I'm probably a little bit sick. I've had a few days where I've been doing very little because to be honest with you, at the end of last week, I was battling pretty hard with some mystery illness. Not enough to it hasn't given me a big cough or anything, but it just sapped me real bad. Anyway, I've got it. Whole family's got something different. Everything's a bit of a battle at home at the moment. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll go and set this buggy up and then hopefully get some boundaries done when it warms up a little bit more later. Yeah, see how they go on the computer.
Good in 2B doubles. middle. I think this is the middle of this. I've got like a mould mark here. I think I'm almost dead set on it.
Yeah, well, so I've got 62 to do Kumba, 310 to go to Matthew. Which one? One rather than the seat there. Go. Next one on the front. There's the Starfire mounted. Run him in the back of the windscreen here and down to the cab. The Gen 5 mounted up. She's a bit skew-if, but it'll do for the little bit I've got to do. I'll chuck the tractor in the box in here. Get our power wire into the screen here. Just like so. Now we have some stinky power. Box back in its box. And I presume this then goes up to the receiver. Crack up the windscreen. Leave that out there somewhere. She's live here now. Now I'm changed with settings. Quite as stable as I thought it might be. It's not too bad. Oh no, we got our first boundary here, just doing a bit of a test block at the front. Looks like it's worked pretty well. Get him hooked up in the morning and try and actually get some of these proper paddocks done. But for now, that looks like it's come out really well. I've just got the left-hand side wheel as the essentially where I want it to run. And from there, it's done pretty much everything else. You can just pause and resume, but I'll show you that again on when I make another one. But it took a bit of nutting out, but we got there in the end. It took me a little while to figure out how to change the units from imperial to metric. But anyway, she's away, I think. This is going to be pretty straightforward. I'll just see if I can get my paddocks loaded in there, and then I can then I'll have the paddocks to the names and whatever. I can just change fields as I'm going along. But this should be hopefully pretty straightforward. So back here another morning. It's too foggy to go doing any of these boundaries, but just going to give Jaden Brown a ring from Hutchin and Pearce and double check if the correct way I can get that test field I did yesterday across from there, and I'm going to stick it, can't see it at the moment, it's behind the balls, but onto the 380. Take the 380 out there and make sure that the boundary's the exact same as what I made in here. I think after talking to him there last week, I think I should be able to just say that it came from a JD source on the Pro 1200 screen, and then
there's a little bit of a difference between Case and John Deere GPS. They tend to measure a little bit differently. One does an AB around the world and one does just a straight AB. It doesn't take into account the curvature of the earth, I think is how it works. So they're slightly different. So when you make a boundary in John Deere, you've got to convert it for Case use. So just going to ring Jaden, find out how I need to actually export them so I can just put it straight into the 380 hopefully. And then we can go and have a bit of a test, make sure that it's in exactly the same spot. So I know if I'm going to do them for sowing lines, that it's going to be right. Anyway, we'll give him a call. Well, he didn't answer his phone, so we'll just try it anyway. Gonna find where the USB port even is in this thing. I have to go on the other side, I think. Righto. I don't know if that's the one I'm supposed to be using, but here we go. It's a formatted USB. There we go. Righto. Hit the button on the tractor in the box here. Yeah, you can watch me fumble through this because I've only ever done it once. I think I go into systems. No, there's badges, can I? There's about 7,000 blokes going, you do it this way in the background. I can hear you all. You can see me struggling here. I've only done this once or twice. File manager, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Because it's a file. We want to export to all data to USB drive. Sounds good. Yep. It is dead set foggy inside this shed. I wonder my bloody screen was a bit wet. Right, I think our 1200's up and crawling here. So we got data. I've got the USB in the side here, obviously. I want to import. Select import source, USB. Perfect. Righto, so we've got our thing here, GS32630, test, and the block was test 2, yep. So we're going to import the selected. And I went to actually have a look for the boundary, I can't find it. I seen the paddock I made was test 2 and it doesn't seem to have the boundary attached for some reason. So Jaden from Hutchin PSD just ringed me back and he said to get it across I actually have to go via the computer, which doesn't surprise me. Anyway, we'll just I just want to plug this one back in and double check that I can't just do it directly off here. I'm going to go to export here. I'm just doing a custom export here. It's got select destination, select client farm field, which I've done. Then I hit setup data and it's got boundaries in there. So I'm thinking Jaden is right, which would make sense because he's a professional. Current system. Let's just go with that one. They didn't populate the Gen 4 folder that I thought it might, so Jaden said they definitely works with the 2630, so a little bit of a word of the wise. Anyone trying to do the same thing, you might have to take it via the field ops center to make sure that it actually populates as a 2630, not a Gen 4 or a Gen 5. So we can see here, this Gen 4 is the one I just did. Yeah, it's got the boundaries there. Okay, interesting. This just fields. And it's got the boundaries in there too, rather. So with this, I had to actually go into land here to get it to come up. So go into land. Is that right? The young fella here jigging around with me. So we go into land, and I had to go into clients and farms, archived, unarchive it, get the fields archived, and then go into down to test and actually unarchive them, and that managed to bring up my little test block here, which is this pink one. This is the one I made yesterday. So now I've made a setup file for the 380, and I'm hoping that I can take this setup file, which should be over in downloads here, wherever the hell downloads is again. Files, here we go. Alright. Let's see if we finally got a boundary. How can there be no boundaries? The boundaries are in there. Righto, after much stuffing around, we're Andy doing our first on here and some little wheat. Let's start the recording here. This is my little feeler gauge, so I know how far away from the fence I am. I don't really want to be on it because it's not quite a metre long, which is about how wide I want the fences to be. But my actual boundary will be exactly where my left wheel mark is. So if I'm driving over the top of it, that's where it's going to be, which is good. And we're going to be, as I said, a good metre off the fence, which is about where I want to be too. So let's go. This is taking me a fair bit of work to get to this point. I'm still not quite up to date with the software, but it is what it is. I reckon that's pretty good there. I'm going to pause it here. As you can see, this particular piece here, resuming, not ideal. Just going to sneak along the edge of there. Continuing there in the corner. Pretty good. The distance off the edge. Up against the channel here now. That'll be a good metre off the channel. Pause that. It'll be a metre off the top of the channel. You can ride up on the side a little bit, but don't want to be too close or too far away. As you can see, I freehanded this way because the boundary was no good. This is why I'm out here. Wheat's looking good. Canal is still looking pretty average. They tell me there's enough plants here, but I'm still nervous. There's a bunch of trees knocked out along this end, so my headland was just like this all the way. Just so many instances of that across the board. It was just like that everywhere. So we're slowly getting the hang of this. I had to just push my line out a little bit. I measured it to the wheel, but didn't seem to be quite getting as far out as I thought. So I just pushed it out. It's about a metre. So it's somewhere around there is where the line actually is coming. At the moment I'm on resume, but yeah, that's seems to be fairly critical, that piece of it. Had a little bit of trouble. I needed two boundaries into one paddock. Well, I had to ring Jaden Brown again from Hutchin and Pearce, and he sorted me out with that. Apparently you just put interior boundaries and then you can change it to exterior boundaries when you go back to field ops. or op center I should say, the JD op center, and then you can adjust them there. But yeah, we'll continue on here and try and get as many done as we can. I've already done that paddock there. They're coming out pretty good, I think. I just I hope they come over onto the Pro 1200 as good as they're coming out on the Gen 5 here, because if they're half as good as that, we'll be doing good, I think. Haven't got much else to do except make these boundaries for the rest of the day, really, so just going to do that and then go and scurry back to my house where it's nice and warm later on. Alright, we might see you later. Catch ya.